Good morning and happy Sunday. It is the 17th. Happy St. Patty's Day, everybody. Okay, just doing the Social Security roundup for last week, starting on March 11th and going through Saturday the 16th. Sound good? Okay, so on the 11th, that would be Monday, we had, we went over the rule change that occurred a while back that essentially weakened the weight that your treating provider would likely be getting in terms of his or her opinion on your condition, symptoms, limitations caused by your impairments, etc. When you have a Social Security disability or SSI claim before the SSA. It was a really huge rule. Practitioners, we all hated it. Still don't like it. Yeah, that was bad. That was like I want to say 16 or something like that. The next day, Tuesday, the 12th, this was about just a little discussion on what, in my opinion, a skilled appointed representative can and should be doing at a minimum on your case on initial and recon. I don't think it's true that one shouldn't be expected to do anything on initial and recon. I think there's plenty to do. Not the least of which is making the case stronger by giving sound advice so that if the person has to go to a hearing, which is very common, as you know, I'd say more common than not, that case is going to be all that much stronger. And there's a better chance of winning at hearing than if you didn't. So, some representatives might not like that I put it out there because I know some don't do these things, but it is what it is. Okay, so then on March 13th, which would be, what day did we say that was? Would that be Wednesday? This was pulled from a different platform. It was like an auto poll by YouTube. We didn't do it, but it's there. And it was something about the function report. And it had to do with sitting. People don't think they ever have limitations to sitting unless they have like a broken tailbone. And come to find out, they usually do if they're going to have, say, musculoskeletal issues, back problems, hip problems, knee problems even, or edema and swelling problems. So we go into that a little bit and what you need to be thinking about when you're doing your function report. And later on, of course, if you're going to be testifying. March 13th, this was like a vent share. If you have a representative, should the SSA staff, whether it's at the DDS or the field office, be calling you, or should they be calling your representative? You know, the one that you're going to end up paying should you prevail. Most of you probably know my opinion. Yes, it should all be going through the representative. That is why they were retained. And in fact, that is why there is a Social Security rule on that. And I'm pretty sure we shared it there. And again, I know some reps don't want to handle the calls and they'd rather the client do it, him or herself. Makes zero sense to me. Maybe that's because as a lawyer, you never have anyone talking to your client about the case, anyone involved in the case. That's just not how it works. 14th. Oh yeah, this was just a share that the SSA had put out, I think on the 7th of March, 2024, reiterating the overpayment options that people have when they have an alleged overpayment to the SSA of benefits that were improperly paid to them. There might even be a touch in the article itself about something they had alluded to a while ago about how they're going to try to improve the whole scenario with regard to overpayments, including preventing them by having quicker number access to either catch them before the overpayments grow too far or prevent them altogether. So we'll see how that goes. Friday, of course, we had the Friday Fraud Law Review. This was a Washington fellow who had been defrauding for over 2 decades to the tune of over $800,000. It's pretty sad. And he engaged in identity theft of a veteran, a U.S. veteran. So of course that ticks off people like me. Okay, and then Saturday the 16th, that would be yesterday. We go over step 1 of the sequential evaluation process. It's the first of the 5 steps, and those will be coming out, I think, every Saturday. Yeah, and it was preceded by a quick rundown of those 5 steps in a different video, and I'm trying to think when that one went out. Yeah, that one went out on March 9th. So just every Saturday, the next one will come out, and there you have it. So feel free to take a look, see if you're really trying to figure out how does this even work, and what are the steps that the SSA is going to go through behind the scenes before they come to a decision on a case or a determination. And that kind of sequential evaluation process happens at every level, on initial, on reconsideration, and by the ALJ when he or she renders his decision. Okay, so there you have it. Last week's Social Security weekly roundup. I'll talk to you guys later. Hope everybody's doing well. We have a Pocono bug, I'm going to call it. We had one several years ago. My whole family went down for the count. All the problems you get with a stomach bug. And just this morning, my husband, wham, out of the blue. So now he's lying down, but I think his stomach is gone. It was crazy. I hope it doesn't run through the house like the last time, which was many years ago. My kids were much smaller, so that was always worrisome. You have to take care of them before you take care of yourself. Now everybody's a little older. I hope my mother doesn't get it. She's 80, so that wouldn't be fun either. Anyway, I'll talk to you later. Be well. Have a great week. Bye. So you just listened to the week's roundup of all 7 days right behind us and what those video tips were. Are you concerned if you didn't necessarily catch the ones from the week prior to that? Don't worry, we're going to attach it right here. Have a great week, guys. Bye. Hey, happy Sunday. We're just doing the Sunday Social Security roundup of the videos that came out last week. And that would be the week of March 3rd through March 9th. Okay. All right. So March 3rd, of course, we put out that week's Social Security roundup, which covered all the videos from the week before. And then on Monday, March 4th, this was a video about, in this particular instance, mental health counselor. And I see this too frequently not to bring up, and that's why it's brought up. When a counselor being requested for your mental health records, which the SSA is going to ask of him or her, and so will you be at a point in time later if you exceed, certainly if you're beyond initial and reconsideration, but sometimes even earlier, when SSA is unsuccessful at obtaining them, or it gets to the point where you're beyond now the lower levels of the SSA and you have to send your own HIPAA requests. There are times when counselors, or it could even be a nurse practitioner in the psychiatric field, or perhaps a psychologist or the psychiatrist, but by and large, I tend to see it at the counselor level, when they refuse to cooperate, aka hijacking your mental health treatment records. And they seem to think they have a right to. But anyway, we go into some of the issues with that and what you might be able to do about it. That was on Monday, because those records can be critical to you prevailing under claim. Tuesday, March 5th, this was about, it was kind of like a personal example for all the claimants out there that are, being urged by their representatives to go treat. I know I'm a nag to my clients because I really want them to win on initial or recon if they can, and certainly by ALJ hearing. But sometimes the treatment they know or they feel deep down isn't going to help them. Maybe they've tried it before, and they just don't think it's going to be improving their condition. Sometimes you have to go for the legal reasons, and it just is. And I made the video because I was in the middle of an event about having to do the same in my own household with taking a child to the doctor when the child didn't need the doctor, but for legal reasons have to do it. So I kind of go into it, and just so you all know, sometimes we do have to, in anywhere in life, do these doctor visits, or it could be anything else, but in our mutual situations here, because we just have to have that paperwork, and it doesn't mean it's going to help us. In my household situation, it was ridiculous, but got to do what you got to do to, let some powers that be do their check boxes, right? Okay, so that was that. Then the next day, which was March 6th, it was a reminder that many people filing continue to make the mistake of thinking, I have to just prove that I can't do my job. I have to prove I can't do my job. You do have to prove you can't do your job, or your most recent job, or any of the jobs that were considered past relevant work in your last 15 years. However, that is not the end of the story. You also have to prove, by and large, that you can't perform any of the other 12,000 or so other occupations. That would be step 5 of the sequential evaluation process. And incidentally, I just did a series on the sequential evaluation process. So I think it starts, I think the first one, the summary came out yesterday, Saturday. And then I think step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5 are coming out probably on Saturdays for the next few, next 5 Saturdays. But so if you're wanting to get a little bit of a grip, they're short. They're not highly, highly detailed, but it'll give you a general idea of what those steps are. And again, step 4, it seems to be that people they're just unaware that they have to go beyond just proving they can't do their prior job. They have to be able to prove that they can't do any other job that exists in substantial numbers in the national or regional economy. So you can take a look-see for that if you want to get a better grip on that. On March 7th, this was just kind of providing some insight into why claimants are experiencing extensive delays on initial and reconsideration. I personally have had a few clients that have been waiting over a year on initial. Some are on recon. Some don't end up, it ends up being more expeditious, although generally I'd say everything is long across the board, across the country as a generality. And we go into the whys of that. March 8th, Friday, we had our Friday fraud law review, and it was a pretty extensive fraud case against a jeweler from New Mexico. So take a look-see there if you're interested in those crime reportings. I just can't help but look them up. Yeah, and then Saturday the 9th is a recap of the 5 steps of the sequential evaluation process. And in time, the actual individual steps will be coming out. So just keep a lookout for those. They will also be under a playlist so that if you happen to bump into that, you can find them. Alrighty. So that was last week, guys. Sunday's Social Security Roundup for the week of March 3rd through March, what did we say, 9th. I will see you this week, and I hope you have a great rest of your weekend. Bye now.